Welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're going to tackle a really high-stakes geopolitical puzzle, and that is Iran's nuclear program.
So let's just get right into it. This is the central paradox, right? The thing that keeps world leaders up at night. You've got Iran under just immense pressure. Its facilities are getting hit. So why on earth haven't they just built a nuclear bomb already? I mean, it seems like the obvious move. But as we're about to see, the logic here is way more complicated. And understanding it, well, that's key to understanding the stability of the entire region.
Okay, so to really get to the bottom of this nuclear paradox, first we've got to talk about the pressures Iran is facing. And believe me, these are forces that seem to be just screaming at them to build a bomb, making it look like it's their only logical choice.
All right, let's talk about that pressure to sprint. We're going to explore the forces both from the outside and from within Iran itself that are really pushing them towards getting their hands on the ultimate weapon.
So you've got it coming from two directions. From the outside, you have these really direct threats. I mean, when the US starts talking about regime change and you hear about operations with names like Epic Fury, well, if you're the Iranian government, your very survival feels like it's on the line. And then you've got the pressure from the inside. You've got these powerful hardline groups like the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. You'll hear them called the IRGC. And their argument is basically, hey, if we had just tested a nuke back in 2020, we wouldn't even be in this mess.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? The clearer it looks like someone is trying to topple your regime, the weaker your own arguments for holding back become. I mean, at that point, survival becomes everything. It's the only thing that matters.
So, okay, that's a pretty compelling case for just going for it, right? For sprinting towards a weapon. So what is holding them back? Why haven't they done it? Well, the answer, it's in this hidden but really powerful strategic calculation.
And that brings us to the absolute core of why Iran is holding back. It's this idea of the asymmetry of risk. It's basically the logic of waiting. And it's all about weighing what you could gain versus the absolute catastrophe if you fail.
So right now, Iran is in this really interesting state. It's called being at the latent threshold. This is a super important concept. Think of it like this. They have all the ingredients and the recipe to build a bomb, and they could do it pretty fast. But, and this is the key, they haven't actually built or tested one. They haven't taken that final irreversible step. And being in that gray area, that gives them a special kind of power, a kind of maybe we will, maybe we won't deterrent.
And this really lays out the high-stakes gamble they're playing. Look at the two sides here. On one hand, you sprint and you succeed. The benefit? It's real, for sure. You get that nuclear deterrent. But look at the other side. You sprint and you fail. The cost isn't just bad, it's catastrophic. You get all the punishment, all the backlash, maybe even military strikes, but you have none of the protection that a working bomb would give you. The downside is just so much bigger than the upside.
And you have to ask, how could a sprint fail? Well, there are a couple of nightmare scenarios. First, what if your first test is a dud? It just fizzles. For a country that's never tested before, that is a huge risk. You've just shown the whole world what you were trying to do, but you have nothing to show for it. Or, number two, you get caught early. The whole world is watching with satellites and spies. If they get caught in the middle of the sprint, before the bomb is even ready, that's when they are at their absolute most vulnerable to an attack.
Okay, so this whole thing is a really delicate balance, right? This logic of restraint is holding things together. For now. But it is not unbreakable. So let's talk about what could break it. What are the tipping points that could just shatter this whole equilibrium and force them to make a run for it?
Yeah, there are a few red lines that could absolutely force their hand. Imagine American boots on Iranian soil. That's a game changer. Or if the US just came out and said, yep, our official policy is now regime change. The entire calculation just goes out the window. And it's not just external stuff. If the hardliners inside Iran get total control, that could do it too. But maybe the most important trigger is if Iran starts to believe its window to build a bomb is closing for good.
And that leads to this really scary logic that keeps arms control experts awake at night. It's the use it or lose it problem. If Iran thinks that all these strikes on its facilities are slowly destroying its ability to ever build a bomb in the future, well then the incentive to use what they've got right now just skyrockets. It becomes a now or never situation, and that is incredibly dangerous.
So the big takeaway here is that this isn't about some final yes or no decision. It's not that simple. It's a constant, high-stakes balancing act. Iran is trying to do two things at once: preserve its options, what you might call its optionality, while at the same time rebuilding and hardening its program so it can survive an attack.
And this just underscores how incredibly fluid this whole situation is. The regime's own assessment of its chances of survival, it's a moving target. Every single strike, every political signal from another country, it moves that target. It changes the entire math. This is a live question. And honestly, no one, maybe not even the leaders in Iran, knows what the final answer will be.
And so, that leaves us with the billion-dollar question, the one that everyone in global security is grappling with. We have this fragile balance. This whole thing is holding together based on a really complex logic of risk. But in a world of moving targets, in a world of escalating pressure, how long can a fragile balance like this actually hold?